Hello to you. I do hope you're well. In this video, I want to share some advice on starting year 10. So this video is your guide to achieving grade 9s and great things in your GCSEs over the next 2 years. So I thought we could start with a quick overview of the next 2 years, because throughout year 10 and year 11, you will be studying for your GCSEs. And then at the end of year 11 in May and June 2027, you will be sitting your GCSE exams. So what will the next 2 years involve? Well, we are currently at stage 2, which is September 2025, beginning your GCSEs. And you will remember that last year you chose your GCSE options. And so you will now begin studying them this year. And then if we have a look at what is coming up, we've got year 10 mock exams and year 11 mock exams as well. And they are really important and really helpful because they help you to become confident and comfortable in exam conditions. And they also help you to develop your exam technique. And they're really, really beneficial in terms of identifying any gaps in your knowledge or any areas for improvement, so that by the time you do sit your GCSE exams at the end of year 11, you feel really confident and prepared for achieving great things. And then the final stage on the journey is year 11 results day, which will be in August 2027. And actually, as we begin this journey, it's really important to visualize yourself at the end. So imagine yourself on results day in the school hall. What results do you want to be opening and what grades do you want to be achieving? Because all of the hard work that you'll be putting in over the next 2 years is all about preparing for results day and making sure that you achieve your very best, so that you can then go on to live your best life, whatever that might look like for you. So in terms of how we get there and how we achieve that great success, there are 4 core skills that we need in order to succeed at GCSE level. And they are commitment, organisation, resilience, and effort. So we'll be talking through them in today's video. And they are an integral part of what I call the journey to greatness, because it's important to remember that GCSEs are a marathon, not a sprint. There are things we need to do and steps we need to take in order to achieve success at GCSE level. And it's also important to remember that success is not achieved overnight. Success takes time, and you've got to invest a lot in order to achieve great things. And I think it's really helpful to think of this as like an iceberg, because above the surface, the bit that you can see is the result of your hard work. And that is you on results day opening your results and seeing the amazing grades that you have achieved. But behind that success and beneath that success is all the hard work that you've put in over the 2 years. And that is why it's so important to have commitment, organisation, resilience, and effort, because success does not happen by chance. You don't just wake up and achieve grade 9. It's all about the hard work that you put in. And we do live in a culture where we can see the result of someone's hard work, for example, on social media or on television, and we forget all of the hard work that they have put in to get there. So today's video is all about that bit beneath the surface, all of that consistent hard work that we're going to be putting in over the next 2 years in order to achieve those great things. And it all starts with ambition. It's about setting high aspirations and believing in your ability to achieve great things. We then, of course, have got our core skills of commitment, organisation, resilience, and effort. And then we'll also talk about the resources that you need to help you achieve, for example, flashcards when it comes to doing retrieval practice as part of your revision. And then finally, but very importantly, the importance of taking care of yourself, because you can only achieve your best if you are feeling your best. So it's really important to prioritise your mental and physical health over the next 2 years. And we'll be taking a look at how you can do that towards the end of this video. So let's start by talking about the importance of being ambitious. And as you begin your GCSE journey, it is really important that you set ambitious goals for yourself for the next 2 years. So have really high aspirations and aim to achieve your very best. You want to get the best results that you possibly can so you can go on to live your best life in the future. And it's really important at this point to have a purpose. So to think about the reason behind all the hard work you'll be doing over the next 2 years, because that purpose from within you will keep you motivated when you're waking up early and you're spending long days revising. And the purpose that I hope will drive you over the next 2 years is that you want to achieve your best, that you want to achieve success. So that is why it is important to think about yourself on results day. What results do you want to be opening and how do you want to be feeling? The purpose behind all the hard work that you're doing is to achieve your best, so that you feel proud of yourself, that your friends and family are proud of you, and you can then go on to live your best life. And it is really important to know that you are capable of greatness, because greatness is achieved through effort, hard work, and determination. It is not down to luck. It's down to the work that you put in starting today. So be ambitious. And by that, I mean set high goals and aspirations for yourself. Aim for the top and have confidence in your ability to get there. So let's have a look at our first core skill, which is to have commitment. And commitment means having a dedication to your studies and having a determination to succeed. And this all comes down to remembering the purpose behind all your hard work. So your purpose comes from within you. It's your reason and it is the why behind what you are doing. And the reason that you are going to be committed to your GCSEs is because you want to achieve great results on results day so that you can then go on to live your best life. So see your GCSEs as an investment in your future success. And whenever I talk about commitment, I always use the word consistency. It's about what you do on a daily basis. And this all comes down to the routine that you have each day and the habits that you develop. So a famous philosopher from over 2,000 years ago, Aristotle, said, "We as humans are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act, but a habit." So what he's saying there is that we achieve success based on the habits that we have. And a habit is something that you do on a daily basis without needing to think about it. So think about what happens when you get in from school of an evening. Do you go straight on your phone and then spend 5 hours scrolling through social media? If that is a habit you have over the next 2 years, then that is not going to help you achieve your best in your GCSEs. So you've got to commit to a positive habit that will help you achieve your best at GCSE level. For example, your new habit, your new routine could be that when you get in of an evening, you spend 20 minutes having something to eat and catching up on social media before then dedicating 1 hour to focused work. For example, it might be doing some homework that's due the next day or revising for a test that you've got in a couple of weeks. And you could then also add on another really good habit of preparing for the next day as well. So you might then have a look at your timetable for the next day and pack your bag with the books, equipment, and resources you will need the next day. So then when you wake up the next morning, you don't have to rush around trying to find everything because you've got ahead of the day and you've prepared everything the night before. So they are the kind of habits and routines that students with commitment have. And it is all about making your life easier so that you can then focus on achieving those great results because you are in that really great routine and you've got those positive, healthy habits in place so that then success is able to come easily to you. And then the key with this is to stay consistent and minimize distractions. So when you have got that routine in place where every evening you're doing 1 hour's revision, make sure you stick to that. And that will then come in really handy when it gets closer to your exams because you've already got that routine in place. you're already into the habit of doing some studying each evening and then preparing for the next day the night before. And by having those habits in place, that will really help you to achieve great things. Because remember, success does not happen overnight. It is the result of continuous hard work over time. So remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Put those habits in place, get yourself into that really good routine, and it will pay off for you. And it is all about having that commitment. For the next 2 years, you want to have that dedication to your studies and that determination to succeed. And then on results day, you will celebrate really great success. And remember to keep your purpose in mind as you go through the next 2 years, because there are going to be mornings when you wake up and you think, I'm really tired today. There are going to be evenings when you think, can I be bothered revising today? And when that does happen, you've got to remind yourself of your goals, of your purpose, and of the reason why you're putting in that work. You are committed to studying because you are committed to achieving your best at GCSE level. Okay, our next core skill then is organisation. And this is all about being prepared, being punctual, and planning ahead. Now, with GCSEs, you are, of course, studying for multiple subjects and you will be sitting different exams. So it is really important that you get organised so you can then achieve your best in every subject. And organisation begins with being on time. So make sure you are arriving to school on time and that you're arriving for every lesson on time so that you're not missing out on any learning and therefore you're not covering all the content you need to know to achieve the top marks. It's also about remembering your equipment. So as I mentioned before, get into that good habit and routine of packing your bag the night before. Make sure you've got everything you need the night before so that you're not then rushing around and forgetting things in the morning. It's a really simple thing to do, but it has a really positive impact. Make sure as well that you're completing all homework on time and that you're meeting all deadlines. As I say, at GCSE level, you are studying for multiple different subjects and you're going to have many different exams. So it's really important that you are organising and managing your time. Now, my advice with this is that you have a diary and a calendar. So your diary is for your daily updates. It's for what you've got each day. And I would, for each page of my diary for each day, have 2 things I write down. I would write down my to-do list, so the things that I need to do on that day. I'd also write down my deadlines list, the things that are due that day, things I need to take into school and hand in on that day. So you might like to do them in 2 different colours. Make sure you just present it and arrange it in a way that works for you. And what that helps you to do is manage your daily priorities, because you can then tick off things once you've done them on your to-do list. And you can also then see what you need to remember, what deadlines you've got on that day as well. So get into a good habit of writing everything down in a diary in terms of what you need to do that evening when you get in, and then also what deadlines you need to meet that day as well. I would also have a calendar, which gives you an overview of the month. So a bit of a bigger picture, if you like, so you can actually plan weeks in advance. And on that calendar, you want to write down any deadlines or important dates. So if you've got homework that's due on a Wednesday, make sure you've written that down. If you've got a test coming up next Thursday, make sure you write that down. So with your diary, you've got your daily priorities in terms of what you need to do and what deadlines you need to meet. And then with your calendar, you've got a monthly overview. And that means that you are always prepared and that you're always thinking ahead. And that is going to come in really handy when we get closer to your final exams, because with your revision, it is so important that you have a timetable and you are keeping organised. We know that cramming the night before an exam does not work. In terms of revising effectively, you need to do something called distributed practice, which is where you are returning to the same topic many times over an extended amount of time. So if you get into the good habit now of planning ahead by using a diary and a calendar, when you get closer to your exams and you need to do a revision timetable, you will feel really confident about putting that together because you've got into that good habit of planning ahead and managing your time. It's also really important that you have a folder for each subject. So you might have a ring binder or a wallet, and in that folder, you are going to keep all of the important information you need for that subject. And the idea with the folder is it will keep everything in one place. You're not going to be wondering which pile of papers your geography questions are in, because you know they will be in your geography folder. So in that folder, you're going to keep all the important documents and information that you need for that subject. For example, the specification, past paper questions, any resources that you've created, any past papers that you've completed. Everything for that one subject will be in that one place. And then throughout the 2 years, you can go back to your folder and you know that everything will be in there. But we'll talk a little bit later about resources to buy and things to download and what you should be putting inside your folder. But for now, make sure that you have got a folder labeled for each subject where you can keep everything for that subject in one place. Our next core skill then is resilience. And resilience is all about perseverance. It's about persevering when you face challenges, because every single one of us faces challenges, obstacles, and setbacks at some point in our lives. And when you do face a challenge, you've got two choices. Number one is to give up, and number two is to get to work, because it's important to realize that challenges and setbacks are not to be feared. They're actually opportunities to embrace, because challenges help us to strengthen our character, and obstacles are actually opportunities for us to grow. And one of my favorite books of all time is by Susan Jeffers, and it's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And one of the key messages of the book is that whatever happens in life, you can handle it. No matter what obstacle you are faced with, you can overcome it, and you can turn any setback in your life into a stepping stone towards success. So make sure that you use challenges to strengthen you and see obstacles as opportunities to grow and develop. For example, if you do make a mistake, and we all make mistakes, it's a very human thing to do, make sure you look for the lesson behind it. So ask yourself, what can I learn from this? And then when you get feedback, for example, from teachers on a mock exam paper, use that feedback to help you improve. And I always say, when you get a mock paper back, or actually when you get any piece of work back, you need to reflect and review it. So you need to look at your feedback and you need to think, right, what can I learn from this? What can I do to improve? So, for example, let's imagine you've got a mock exam paper back and it's not the grade you were hoping for. It's not the result that you wanted. Do not just look at that grade and be disheartened and think, oh, I can't do it, I give up, I'm not trying anymore. You've got to say, right, this is actually a great opportunity for me. I'm going to use this to my advantage. So what you want to do is diagnose where you went wrong, where it is that you lost the marks. So did you lose marks because of a lack of knowledge? Did you lose marks because of your exam technique? For example, you ran out of time, or you didn't answer the questions properly, or was it a bit of both? So you've got to do that review of the paper. And then, most importantly, you've got to act on it. You've then got to go away and fill in those gaps in your knowledge and strengthen your understanding, so that when you do the next practice paper, you will see an improvement. So that's why it's really important that you're always learning from any mistakes and you're using feedback from teachers to help you improve. Because remember, those obstacles are actually opportunities. And this is, for me, all about focusing on progress rather than perfection. We are not here for perfection. Perfection is impossible. All that matters is that we are making progress on a daily basis. So each day think, right, how can I improve? How can I make that 1% improvement today? Because if you keep doing that every day, by the end of the 2 years, you're going to be achieving really amazing things. And I've said it a couple of times now, but make sure you think of GCSEs as a marathon, not a sprint. It is a long-term journey. We have got 2 years until those exams. So we have got plenty of time to make mistakes and learn from them, so that then by the end of the 2 years, you won't make those mistakes in your actual exams. So really important you keep in mind that it's all about progress, not perfection. You don't need to get everything right. You don't need to do things perfectly. It's about making that progress and remembering that whatever does happen, you can handle it, because you can learn from any mistakes and you can turn any obstacles into opportunities. And so no matter what happens, keep working towards your goals. Confucius said that our greatest glory is not in never falling, but rising every time we fall. So use those setbacks as stepping stones and turn those obstacles into those opportunities to grow. Our final core skill then is effort. And effort is all about putting 100% into your lessons, your homework, and your revision. And that is because we know effort leads to mastery. So success, as I mentioned at the start, is not about luck. And natural talent is not enough to secure greatness. It is not. What we do need and what will achieve the top results is effort. And I mentioned earlier, didn't I, that success is quite like an iceberg. And this is called the iceberg illusion. People see the result. They see someone winning a gold medal or achieving really great success in their career. What they don't see is all the hard work that went into getting there. And we can often therefore assume that success comes easily to certain people and that they've just woken up one morning with a gold medal in their hand, or they've gone on to results day and magically grade 9s have appeared. That is not the case. Behind success is so much hard work that people don't see. Things like the sacrifices they've made, the courage they've shown, the hard work they've put in, the good habits they've cultivated, the action they've taken. So what the point is here is that if you want to achieve success, you've got to put the effort in. You've got to put the hard work in. So what does this look like on a daily basis? It means trying your best. As I've just said, you don't need to get everything right. We're not here for perfection. We're here for progress. So make sure that you try your best every single day. So in terms of what that means, it means striving to go beyond expectations. I always use the example of the GCSE RE textbook as an RE teacher myself, because if a student has just read that textbook and then goes into the exam, they'll probably get a grade 4 at most, maybe a grade 5 if they're lucky. It is not enough, certainly in RE, to just read the textbook. In order to achieve great results, you've got to go beyond the basics. So what does that mean? Well, it means that you go away and do extra research and reading about the topics you've looked at in lessons. It means asking your teacher questions, being really proactive in your approach. If there's something you don't understand or there's something you want to know more about, ask that question. It also means going away and doing past paper questions at home. So actually then applying the content knowledge to real life past papers so that you can see how you would use that knowledge and information in the exam room under exam conditions. It means watching YouTube videos and doing that extra research at home so that you can strengthen your knowledge and understanding. It might also mean creating your own revision resources. For example, when you've studied a topic in school, you might go home and create a flashcard on it. So on one side of the flashcard, you're going to write a question, and on the other side, you're going to write the answer. And you can then use that as retrieval practice as part of your ongoing revision. So, as I say, effort is all about going beyond. It's about not trying to do the bare minimum and go home, but actually going beyond expectations so that you can then achieve great things in your GCSEs. And as I've mentioned, it's about being proactive. So don't just follow instructions, don't just meet expectations, actually use your initiative. Think, right, well, on results day, I want to be getting a grade 9. So right now, I'm going to put some hard work in. I'm going to ask that question. I'm going to get my teacher to mark an extra exam paper I've done. I'm going to create my own revision resources as well that I can then use as I do my revision later on in the GCSE journey. And it's also really important to remember that you want to put your effort into things that work. It's important to focus on high impact and high quality revision techniques. You know, I'll give you an example. I think highlighters are great, and I'm going to talk in a minute about buying a highlighter and using it. But some people think that effective revision means reading the textbook and highlighting random words. And it's just not a successful strategy. It is not going to help you achieve the top mark. So it's important you're putting your effort into those high impact and high quality revision techniques that we know work. For example, doing your mind maps and summaries of a topic where you're making links between different areas of the curriculum, flashcards for retrieval practice, past paper questions so that you can actually apply the knowledge to the exam board's expectations. Teaching someone else the topic is a great way, a really active way of securing your own understanding of it, and creating your own revision materials as well. For example, creating your own quiz on a topic. That is a really high impact, high quality revision technique for you. So make sure that when you are putting your effort in, it's into things that will pay off, into those high impact, high quality techniques. And then finally, it's so important that you are then being proud of your daily progress, because we want to sustain that effort over 2 years. We don't want you to burn out. We don't want you to get fed up. So it's important at the end of every day, you take a minute to reflect on how your effort has paid off that day. So what you've been able to achieve as a result of your hard work on that day. And as I say, that 1% progress that you're making every day, you will see that add up over time. It's that investment, isn't it, in achieving success at the end of year 11. So let's move on now, shall we? Now we've looked at our 4 core skills, to the resources that will help you achieve success. So I thought we could talk through what I would recommend that you actually buy at the start of your GCSEs in terms of stationery and revision resources. And then we'll also look at things to download as well. So things like the specification and examiner's reports that you can then put in your folder for each subject. So if we just start with the very basics, you are, of course, going to want to have your pens, your pencils, and your ruler, which you'll be using every day in every lesson. And you might want to get a clear pencil case as well, because that is what you will need for your exams. In terms of highlighters then, I would recommend that you do have highlighters, not to just highlight random words in the textbook, but to actually highlight key information. That's the whole point of them, that they are drawing attention to important information. So for example, it might be to headings and subheadings, so you can see them really clearly when you're looking back through your book. It might be for keywords and definitions, again, for the same reason, that they stand out when you're flicking back through. It might be for highlighting key quotes that you need to memorize, for example, in English Lit. It could be that when you're going through exam questions, you highlight the command words, so you can really develop your grade 9 exam technique. It might also be that when you've got a revision list, you then highlight the topics you want to prioritize, so you can see really visually that that's what you want to be focusing on. I would also recommend that you buy some flashcards. They're going to be really great for your retrieval practice as part of your revision, which is one of our really high impact, high quality revision practices. So what you need to do with your flashcards is, on one side, you're going to write a question, and then on the back, you're going to write the answer, because you can then regularly test yourself, and that will really help to secure that knowledge into your long-term memory ahead of your final exams. I'd also say get some post-it notes. They're really handy to have if you want to summarize something in a really short, concise box. So, you know, once you've read a page of the textbook, you might then get a post-it note and summarize in a couple of bullet points the key information, so that you've then committed that to your own knowledge. You could again use post-it notes for key quotes that you want to memorize, and also for key words, because obviously it will make it stand out if it's on a post-it note. You can also use them as page markers. So if there's an important page in the textbook, you could use a post-it note as a little bookmark just to remind you where that page is, so you don't have to keep trying to find it. They're also really handy though for keeping organised. If you just want to write a quick reminder to yourself in the morning and leave it on your desk, so when you get home, you can do whatever you need to do. And also for a quick to-do list, you know, if you've got a few things you want to do in your study hour after school, jot them down on the post-it note and you can then tick them off as you work through them. I've also put here a USB stick, which is really great for when you're downloading things, for example, off the exam board website, because within your USB stick, you can then create a folder for each subject and save the important documents there. So the specification, past papers, and also any revision resources you create for that subject. So you might create a quiz on your biology topic, for example, and then you can go back and print that off from your USB stick as you are revising. So really great to have everything in one place rather than having to go and look for it on the internet again. If you've got everything in one place on your USB stick, you can quickly go on, print off anything you need, have a look at anything you want to review, and it's all there. It's really convenient, really straightforward. And then also, as we mentioned, we want to have a weekly diary, and you might call it a planner, as well as your calendar, so that you can manage your time on a daily basis, and also then with the calendar, have that monthly overview as well. A couple more things that I would suggest having a notebook where you can take any extra notes and you can use it for your revision if you want to do some practice questions, for example. And also, of course, we mentioned folders. We want to have one for each subject. So you've got everything you need all in one place. So in terms of what you are going to put into your folder, what is it that you need to download from the exam board websites that you need to have and keep for each subject? Well, I would advise having the exam board specification, which sets out the entire list of topics you need to know for the exam. And I would keep that at the front of your folder. So you've got that really clear revision list that you can then tick off once you've studied it in class. And also you can tick off again once you've revised it at home. You would also perhaps want to print off the keyword list. The exam boards will always put together a list of the keywords with their definitions. So then any keywords that come up in terms of a question in the exam, you will know that definition because you've printed it, you've put it in your folder, and you've read back through it regularly. You might also want to put some past paper questions in your folder. So when you do have a spare 10 minutes, you can have a go at a question. And again, you can then tick it off once you've done it, because that will really help you to apply all of your knowledge to real life exam questions, which will help you to develop your exam technique so you can secure the top marks in your exams. You might also want to put some model answers with commentaries in your folder as well. So the exam board will always publish some exemplar answers that show you what a grade 9 answer actually looks like. And they'll include in that what the examiner has said about why that particular answer was awarded full marks. So keep that in your folder as well as a standard to work towards and as a guide to achieving grade 9s, because it gives you that really clear model for what you want to be achieving and doing in your own writing. And as I've put, make sure you then put those in your folder so that you can refer back to them regularly and use them as part of your ongoing studies and revision. In terms of other great things you can do with the internet, make sure you're watching YouTube videos, as of course you are doing right now. They are really helpful for strengthening your knowledge and broadening your understanding. Use revision websites as well. Loads of great websites out there, for example, BBC Bite Size, that can help you to understand something and give you a bit more information about it. And then I would always say, make sure you are being active in your studying and your revision. Don't just be reading and consuming. Make sure that you are creating yourself as well. Things like creating your own quiz, things like creating your own resources. They are really great things to do because it helps you to secure that understanding in your own mind, but it also then gives you a resource to use when you get closer to the exam. So make sure you're being as active as you can in your studying and your revising. So, as I said, we are going to conclude by talking about the importance of taking care of yourself. And it is so important that you take care of yourself over the next 2 years, and of course in the years ahead as well, because you can only perform at your best if you are feeling your best. So what is it that we need to do? The first thing I want to say is make sure that you're always taking breaks and scheduling time to relax. Just as importantly as scheduling when you're going to do your homework or when you're going to do your revision is scheduling when you're going to relax. Make sure you've got a cut-off point every evening after which you say, right, I'm not doing any more work now. It's now my time to relax, unwind, and enjoy my evening. For me, for example, something that I did when I was revising for my GCSEs is I would actually do 30 minutes of meditation. So I would sit down, I would put some relaxing music on, and I would just be present for 30 minutes. And I found that that was really helpful for me in terms of keeping calm, keeping grounded, and feeling my best. And I would do that in the morning and then also in the evening as well. In terms of what else, make sure that you're trying to eat healthily and that you're aiming for 8 hours of sleep as well. Now, don't obsess about getting exactly 8 hours, but just make that effort to be relaxing for a good amount of time in the evenings. Do not be working late into the evening. As I say, make sure you've got that cut-off point after which your focus is then on resting, relaxing, and unwinding. You know, make sure you've got time to chat with your family, catch up with your friends, maybe go for a walk, or do something that you enjoy. It is just as important that you're scheduling that in, because it is all about finding a balance and keeping everything in perspective. So make sure, and it's great to think of this as like a pie chart, that you've got a balance in your life so that your whole pie chart is not studying. Make sure that you've got that balance. So you've got things like seeing your friends, catching up with your family, going for a walk, you know, all the things that you enjoy. Make sure you continue to do them. You cannot, you know, completely replace your normal life with studying. It is not healthy, and actually it's not going to help you achieve, because you're going to end up being exhausted and not feeling your best. And as I say, we can only perform at our best when we feel our best. So make sure you've got that balance, and also make sure you're taking that step back as well. So don't become so consumed by your studying that you think it is the only thing that matters in life, because it is absolutely not. This is an important part of your life, but it's only the beginning of your life, and you've got your entire life ahead of you. So keep everything in perspective. We want you to try your best and achieve your best, but at the end of the day, there are going to be many, many more opportunities to succeed in your future. The grades that you get in your GCSEs are not going to determine your worth or define your future. So make sure you are keeping everything in perspective. As long as you've tried your best, that's all that matters at the end of the day. It's also really important to know that you're not alone on this journey. Make sure if you are struggling and you've got any questions or you need a bit more support, that you are asking for that. You know, ask for help and talk to your family, your friends, and your teachers as well. I would also say make sure you're being kind to yourself and also, of course, to other people. So speak to yourself as you would speak to a friend. Don't beat yourself up or put yourself down or hold yourself to unrealistically high expectations. Show yourself the same kindness that you would show to somebody else in your position. And it's also important, as I say, to be kind to other people as well. You know, when you smile at people and say hello and you show them kindness, that boosts you as well. It has a really positive impact on your own well-being when you show that kindness towards other people. And so the mantra I want you to keep in mind is actually what my mum always said to me when I was studying in school, which is that as long as you've tried your best, that's all that matters. You know, don't, as I say, compare yourself to other people. Don't be really critical with yourself. As long as you've tried your best, that is all that matters. You have got a very successful future ahead of you. So I want you to take pride in everything you've already achieved in education and now have confidence in how far you can go. You have got, as I say, a really successful future ahead of you. So put 100% into trying your best and make sure that you enjoy the journey as well, because it will go really quickly. Make sure that you are enjoying every step of the way, because you are capable of greatness and you are going to achieve really great things.